So, as you're probably all very well aware, his contract ran out. Quotation marks with WWE. And he's supposedly a free agent and hasn't really revealed any doing new shows where anywhere, maybe doing some Comic-Con stuff or not Comic-Con, convention stuff. But no matches anywhere yet. He did some interviews this week. We'll get into all that. So I'll open it up there and discuss. Is this Karrion Kross thing a work, or is he really gone from WWE? So leave it up to you guys to decide. Who wants to go first?
I guess I'll start.
Because I'm going to copy everybody's answer according to everybody on this panel.
Go for it. Go for it.
It's a work. Are you kidding me? He's a great wrestler. Of course, he would have been signed somewhere else if there wasn't a work. There's no way he's going to have a layover like this and AEW doesn't want him or something, and there's nothing really in the news about that. It's 100% a work.
They released him 2 years ago.
And he only went
Dude, he draws people. He's got the crowd right now. It'll bring more fans over. Of course they would take him back in a heartbeat.
That's true, but...
So if there's nothing going on right now and you really aren't hearing anything, it's definitely a work. I mean, it's a good work. But it's a work. There's no doubt about it in my mind. It wouldn't you're not fooling me on this one.
All right, tag me in, buddy.
Joe. Go ahead, Charlie.
Go ahead.
All right. Jeremy, basic, semi-functional adult's opinion of the wrestling storyline. I respect that. You're not a huge fan, but I would say the same thing. It does look like a work. From if you're just kind of monitoring wrestling, we see this guy is getting popular, why would they let him go, right? The Ariel Helwani interview did throw me for a little bit of a loop because he mentioned things in there that I did find strange, and I give credit to Helwani for holding his feet to the fire somewhat. When he talked about them saying, hey, you have 24 hours to decide, and Helwani saying that, I've interviewed a lot of wrestlers.
Weird.
It's weird. That's not the way contracts work. But I could also see that of him, I think Kross, just listening to his audiobook and stuff, he's a very, he knows what he's worth. So I could totally see him saying that. I did, and he mentioned, he's like, we're taking bookings, we are booked. But like Joe mentioned, he is booked, but he's booked at horror conventions and Comic-Cons. He's not booked at wrestling shows. So, I mean, maybe there's a 30-day or 60-day non-compete. But I don't know. I still think it's a work. I'm going to have to side with Jeremy as much as it pains me.
And to touch on what you said about that, I listened to that podcast as well. He was like, this book was supposed to come out 3 or 4 years ago. It had to touch this, this, and this. I was like, WWE doesn't do anything without touching it. I just find it to be very convenient, especially if they've known this book was going to come out this week at this moment. And they're obviously going to make money on it because he has to run it through them. So they have something to do with it. And I don't know if because there's nothing they do that they don't have planned out years in advance. At least they might change minor things, like they say in Unreal, but I just don't find it believable that he's allowed to talk as much as he's talking. And his answers are very almost political. He gets to the answer, but he doesn't really touch anything. No, he doesn't. He doesn't list names. He doesn't put anybody down, which is totally, I feel like, and especially since he admitted that the first YouTube video was fake, not fake, but was a work.
A work, yeah.
And how do you kind of prove otherwise?
Right. No, that's a good point because they could put in a 60-day non-compete, right? But I don't know if they could say you can't talk about other wrestling companies. So if he's really done with them, why shouldn't he bury WWE, raise his stock for AEW? You know what I'm saying? I can't be sold on it yet.
One point on that, I think for clarity on the 60-day no compete. I think that's only when they're released from their contract, not when their contract runs out. So when their
You're
contract
right.
runs out,
You're,
they
Yeah,
can
he
no,
go
said
do
you're,
whatever
that.
they want. Yeah.
you're 100% right. You're 100% right. My bad.
But coming from that same interview, there were a few things there that I originally went into this like, yeah, this is definitely a work, but there were a couple points in there that made me think otherwise, or maybe not in the interview, but things that I've seen. If you go on the WWE shop for first, all his stuff is on clearance. So if you want a Kross shirt, go buy it. And it's actually, I think it's the number one selling shirt right now, his shirt, and while it's on clearance. So all his stuff is on clearance. Then they also removed his music. Like you can't listen to it on YouTube or Spotify or whatever. So he had to put out a new song, his entrance music. So that was kind of moved. So there's that stuff. And there's another point he said in the interview, that interview, Kathy, you were just talking about after WrestleMania that he did with Sam Roberts, that he was saying like a producer asked him, hey, you want to go do this? Get interviewed by Sam. And he said, yeah, let's do it. And then he did the interview. And then I think he said specifically Triple H was pretty upset about it. So
yeah, trips.
I could see a world where they see it as him going into business for himself a little bit and doing things. Because he even mentioned, maybe he mentioned it or Ariel Helwani mentioned it in his match with AJ. AJ went for the phenomenal forearm and Karrion Kross just put his arms behind his back and let AJ hit him with the phenomenal forearm, kind of as like a, breaking kayfabe moment there. I don't remember that, but I remember them saying that in the interview. So there are a few things there that I could see where maybe it is real. Maybe they did release or not renew his contract to kind of teach him a lesson a little bit. But then there's plenty of other things going the other way. So
maybe if it wasn't their plan and there's such a massive response now, they will they had those couple days and maybe there's something in the work. I think the only reason I can think it's not a work and that it actually could be real is because they didn't offer his wife anything. And he seems like the kind of person that will totally bosh any deal that he is not comfortable with because of that for his family.
Yeah, I think what he said was they offered him a contract, and then if he accepted, they would offer her a contract, which also sounds strange because I think he said that was on like Tuesday. His contract ran out on Saturday. That would have been a quick turnaround time to do all that. So those were the two other points. The 24-hour thing sounds kind of crazy to me. And he said he didn't sign it because he wanted to ask them how they came up with this number, which sounds really strange. Like there was no negotiation. It was he just wanted to see how they came up with this. And then he kept saying throughout the interview, I want to be in WWE. I want to keep it open to coming back to WWE.
Right.
Like if you really wanted that bad, because he also said the pay wasn't lower that they offered him. So why not just sign the contract and come back? And they were going to offer your wife a contract right after. So that sounds strange to me.
They're going.
I'm sure that was a bluff. I'm sure that he knew that was a bluff. But
here's one more thing I could see too. It's him and Triple H, and like Joe said, Triple H was the guy that got mad about that interview. I guess nobody ran it past him, but if Triple H and him are butt heads, listening to his audiobook and stuff, Karrion Kross, it reminds me a little bit in his attitude of CM Punk. He kind of knows he's a superstar.
Yeah.
And there's one thing that I think it was said in the interview where it makes me think it could be work because Paul Heyman gave him advice and he said, you know what you have. If you have to sit out a month or 2 months, can you get the crowd back over? He said, yeah, I know I could do. And so, which makes me think they're okay leaving it long term. They know the fan base is going to remember it long term. And it's something that will keep chanting and they'll hopefully keep building on. Or I could be completely wrong. But that's why I like WWE booking again, because it keeps us in suspense.
Yeah. And then there was Jeremy, we couldn't hear you.
I said the storytelling is actually getting like interesting where you're not sure what's going to happen next, where a lot of stuff was more predictable for a while.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And then he said in the interview too, Ariel Helwani asked him, he's like, did you try like calling or texting Triple H about it just to get some clarity? And he said no, because he didn't know how he would ask it. So that seems weird too. I mean,
Yeah.
granted, he's whatever role Triple H is actual chief. I forget what it is, something. So maybe you don't want to reach that high, but Triple H seems pretty involved in everything, so it's a little weird. And then the last one, what Jeremy said too, the AEW thing, like the fact that he said in the interview AEW hasn't reached out, that seems a little crazy to me too. AEW,
Everybody's too afraid because they don't want
they
to
think it's
like get in
work.
trouble.
Yeah. So why wouldn't they just reach out and find out? If it isn't at work, then you win. If it is, then you just back off. So that seems weird too. Like I think AEW
They contact
right
people while they're still in contract to steal them.
Yeah.
Like that's not a reason.
Right.
That's not an excuse.
So it sounds really weird.
And he completely shot down because that was cool. I didn't know that he was going to fight bare knuckle, but he completely shot down any kind of ideas of combat. So he's not looking at that. So it's either they're really working us or he's got nothing lined up.
I think he's going on a book tour. He's going on all these things, and I can see him coming back at like a Rumble or some kind of surprise ending. And I don't know. I don't think it'll be soon because I think it's too soon to like. It's like the Seth Rollins thing. Like it worked really well in that type of a story, but in this, it will because it could have been. It felt like a super tame pipe bomb. Like it was a very PG, very like nondescript. But I'm not happy with them. But this is what has happened without like he doesn't want to put his foot in his mouth. I guess it could be the reason, but it's just not his character. It's not his person. I don't think it's his actual human personality either. So it just seems really off to me.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I think I said this in the group chat. Like, if they let him go do some indie stuff to make it more kayfabe.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't surprise me if he did that. If he showed up in AEW, obviously, I think that's very clear. But if he shows up in TNA, who cares? Because TNA has a great partnership with WWE now. If he goes to the Indies, it's whatever. Indies, he's making some extra money, I guess. So that wouldn't surprise me. But it's tough. And I think you're 100% right. I think it's not going to be soon. I would, if it was my guess, I'd probably say the earliest one might be like Survivor Series. Because I think what they probably want to do, if it is a work, is it feels like, and again, back to what you said too about the CM Punk pipe bomb thing, it feels like they're trying to get that CM Punk reaction again when Punk left and there's for 10 years, everybody chanted Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk.
Right.
And I think they want to do that again because it's still happening. What match was it this week on Raw or SmackDown? In the middle of the match, they were chanting, "We want Kross." So
in the interview, they were like, "Do you think Triple H is ignoring them?" When he was like, "Yeah, Brock Lesnar, let's go, Brock Lesnar." Like, do you think he misheard it, or do you think he's like, it's a satire, and he's like, "No, I think that's a sense of humor thing. I don't think he misheard that because he's like, I have the same sarcastic personality."
Right.
Yeah, so I think they're maybe trying to build that a little more and have that huge moment. It won't be as big as Punk coming back, but they'd have a really big moment with Kross coming back if he showed up in Survivor Series or if he popped up in the Rumble. I wouldn't be surprised by that either. He's one of the entrants, and I don't know if he wins, but that'd be a big moment too. So I think maybe they're building towards that. That's where I lean. I think it's still a work, but I could be swayed.
He was just on SummerSlam. Like, I just don't. Right. Somebody's contract's about to end. You don't main event them on SummerSlam. I find that very hard to believe.
And they advertised his book on the pre-show, so a couple days before he got fired or released.
Yep.
So
it's August.
A money grab.
It's August 17th now. We all say work, right?
Yeah.
What percentage are you confident with that?
I'll go 60-40.
Yeah.
All right. Joe 60. Kathy's 80. Jeremy?
Can't hear you. What? Nope.
That's a normal contribution level. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 100% work. And as time progresses, we'll see if those numbers change.
We'll revisit.
Holding it out. We'll revisit. So let's see if those numbers drop or who's right.
If he pops up in AEW, might get me to watch again. If he has a nice little feud with Hangman, I think that'd be awesome.
That would be cool.